Alright, I think we should be good to go. Hello everyone. Getting into a match as quick as possible this time. Good day's work today, so let's just enjoy some Pac-Man. I don't know if I'm talking to myself, am I? It always takes a minute to get anybody in to update. I assume it's going now. It looks like it's all good. There we go. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm awake this time. Although if I lose, it's just a bout of sleepiness, you know, residual sleepiness. Yeah, like that. Alright, I'm waking up. I am feeling more energetic, yeah. That was pretty bad, but let's stop being greedy. Greed is my big problem in this. It's my big problem. I'm trying to play it harder than I need to. You know what I mean? There was just no need for it. There was no need to go up into that corner rather than just eat the pellet that was there. All you really need to do is just buy a few seconds at the start, that's all. You just need to... You know, you just want to not immediately pick up a pellet, you know? Look, just get a few dots. And then go for a pellet. You started Environmental Station Alpha recently, that's good. You're enjoying it, yeah? I think I alluded to this in the review, but I did in the comparison, I should say, because I get a little bit picky about the titles of the videos sometimes. You know, people go, "Oh, you reviewed that," and I'm thinking, "No, I didn't." Like people go, "Oh, you know, when you reviewed Dust Force," I didn't review Dust Force. You know, it's like there's a big there. You can see it because I actually did a recommendation and a review of Space Chem, so you can kind of see the difference there, you know. The Space Chem review is a whole different beast to the recommendation, at least it is for me anyway. I don't know if anybody else can actually tell the difference, but yeah, Environmental Station Alpha, I kind of alluded to this, but I found that game hard to even fucking look at first. I really wasn't sure I was going to get along with it because the graphics are just so low fidelity. They are excessively low fidelity, I think. And I don't mind pixelated graphics. I mean, I'm going to be using them myself, you know? Like, I got nothing against it, but I just think Environmental Station Alpha went a little bit too far there. But once you get used to it, it's fine. You know, I think the game could look a bit better, but it's fine when you get used to it. But it is so low resolution that it's kind of, it works against the game on like a fundamental way where it's just hard to parse the visuals sometimes, you know? Like you just go, what am I even looking at here when you first start playing it, you know? Thanks, Chris. Glad to hear that. I think the last stream was pretty poor. I don't know if this one was going to be any better, but I'll try. I have my my headphone bandana equipped already. Yeah, I had a good day's work today. Good, making progress, making some good progress. It's funny that that I wasted so much time worrying about the whole fucking slope thing and stuff, because anything else that I've been working on has been going pretty smoothly. So, I mean, it's still very much in prototype territory, you know, but it's like, it's past the proof of concept stage, I would say, right now, you know. And I still don't know if I will actually carry on and finish Proxima. I can't say for sure whether it's actually worth. It's a shame. If that was any other Ghost, I might have got out of that. I can't say for sure that it will work, you know. It'll be worth carrying on, but I don't know. I think it's pretty good so far. I'm wondering when I should actually talk about what the concept is, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't want to show it too soon, but like, it's not a big deal. I don't want to give anybody the false impression that, you know, just because I'm keeping it under wraps, that it's going to be some mind-blowing thing. I think it's just kind of a unique I don't think I've seen this combination of things done anywhere else anyway. But it's not mind-blowing. It's very much just a platformer, you know? But, yeah, so, like I kind of mentioned before, that Proxima is it's a little bit different from the others in that it's kind of more of a gamble, you know? It's not as straightforward as them. And that, you know, if you're a fucking great programmer, that's no problem to you, but I was a little bit worried that I wouldn't be able to do something in it, you know, because there's like a couple of things in it that are just a little bit different to most platformers, and I just wasn't sure if I was actually going to be able to do it. But it turns out I can. It seems to be going well anyway. I really need to fix up the fucking collision stuff. Kind of thing where I want to mess around with it and just see if I have fun, but I think like part of the problem, I don't know if it's worth trying to, you know, opine or give advice about fucking development methods or anything, but I think part of the problem that I had when I was doing the slope thing was that I kept implementing a bunch of half measures, and just there's good ways to do that and bad ways to do that, and I did them in bad ways. That kind of, it just meant like I was constantly hammering down my little half measures, you know, like most platformers, for example, will have some kind of flag that tells you whether or not the character is grounded, you know. And again, this is something that becomes a little bit more complicated when you, well, actually no, it's probably the same kind of problem even if you don't have slopes, where like if they're on, you might want to set that flag based on their center position. Yeah, it is more complicated with slopes a little bit. You know, you want to set that on their center position, but what if they're at the edge of a thing, and you go, oh, okay, so I'll just use I'll just have like an and thing where I just check, you know, the left and the right position instead of the center position. And but like, there's all kinds of little things that can trip you up, you know. And so I've kind of pulled a lot of the little half measure things out now. But it means like when I'm testing it, then, you know, sometimes I go to jump and I don't jump because my center position isn't considered to be on the floor, and it's like, it's fine for testing the other things that I'm putting in place, but it's not fun, you know. Like, it's just annoying. Oh, that was a smooth little maneuver that I did there, letting the red jammer come up to make it easier for me to get down. I'm quite happy about that. I think part of the problem is that I have been out of the programming game for a while, so I just didn't have a good sense of how I should, you know, kind of cobble something together in a way that it's not going to bite me in the ass again later. Or, I don't know, maybe I should stop trying to cobble shit together, you know, and just do the full robust version of it first, straight out of the box. Somebody left a comment on the last stream saying that you can change the switch volume through the home option. That was an annoying one. That was really annoying. The game was just getting good there. No, you can't. Not when it's plugged into the TV. You're not retiring, are you? Kind of. I'm not making videos right now. There's details about it on the Patreon if you haven't read it. Yeah, never had any fun doing Collision. Yeah. Yeah. I am hopeful though. It's the kind of thing where once you do it once, you get a head for it, and then it's portable into other games, you know. It has been by far the worst part of the project so far. I've enjoyed doing the other stuff, but it is nagging. It's always nagging at the back of my mind, like this would be better if, you know. Do I think I'll include Easter eggs to pay homage to my videos or anything in the game? No. I don't think it'll be obvious that it was made by me at all. I don't... Yeah, I don't plan to do anything like that. Am I playing this game off stream as well? I'm not, no. I did a little bit. I must have at some point. Because I can kind of vaguely remember a couple of games that weren't on stream that were good, but I don't... I didn't play many anyway. And it was like a good 2 weeks or so where I didn't play it at all. It's a pretty quiet game. So you'd be tempted to go and sit there, but it's actually a bad idea because, say, if I wait long enough, a red jammer will spawn. And if it spawns down on the bottom right quadrant, then I'm just not getting a speed boost. So I'm actually a little bit behind where I probably ideally should be in this match, I would say, because I kind of delayed a couple of times. I really want to get to 3 speed and then slow down again. I mean, I definitely could be doing more to win. Like, after I get this speed thing, I will try to remember that I don't need to keep the combo going. I know I'm trying to mentally remind myself I don't need to keep it going, but at the same time I don't want to let the red jammers move into bad positions either, so there is that. Like this, I have to grab this pill here in case that moves up towards me. But there, that delay that I did there essentially killed some extra red jammers for free. And again, I can't let that red jammer over on the right move, because if he does, he'll block off this pill, which is bad. So there, but we're killing... Sorry, because I delayed, I end up killing more red jammers per fruit. It'd be kind of interesting if that had maybe an effect on your garbage somehow, that there was kind of a risk-reward element there as well, I don't know. Again, I don't want him to move, so I gotta go for it. We can afford to let these move a little bit. That put Blinky in a nice position to kill there. Whatever, I'll stop the running commentary, you get the idea. Oh my god, I missed the turn. Ah, that's a fucking shame. I had a lot of medals and stuff. Maybe I should have kept the commentary going. The Steam reviews will already be filled with cringe ladies and gentlemen jokes anyway. Yeah, if it gets any Steam reviews, I don't know if it will or not. And it's probably a good problem to have. I'm not going to do a commentary or a review on Dark Souls 3 or Bloodborne, no. I think there is some universe where Elden Ring turns out to be so good that maybe I do go back and do a Bloodborne commentary and kind of fill in that gap before doing an Elden Ring one. But we're not on the path to that universe right now, so. You can find some of my thoughts on the later games in the Lost Soul Arts of Demon Souls video if you haven't seen that one. I should really stop answering questions like that just for the sake of viewers who have probably heard it 100 times by now. It's just happened to be the one that I fucking saw. Maybe I should take a bigger break between games or something. As if I'm gonna do that though. There's Pac-Man to be played. I'm disappointed that I keep getting bad losses. I'm not happy with the losses. I don't know. I know a bunch of them have been my fault. You know, nearly all of them I would say. I do think maybe one of the red jammer spawns yesterday was unfair. But still, even so, I wish I was doing a bit better. Feed the algorithm. Yeah, I can't imagine this is going to work forever, but... And I haven't been paying much attention to it, so I could be totally wrong. But I actually think... based on what I see, I should really look into this, because it would be interesting if this is right. I'm probably bullshitting here, but I think actually the channel has been slightly more successful since I stopped uploading. Or like it hasn't been hit all that hard, because I think what's happened is it has stopped trying to give people new videos, because I haven't made any in months, and so it's just reverted to a bunch of popular videos that get clicks instead, which means that a bunch of people are watching the BioShock and Dark Souls videos and stuff, but it doesn't seem to have negatively impacted it that much. I mean, it's obviously not my ideal. I would like if they were all equally watched or something. Oh, I fucked up. I thought the fruit was there. I just assumed the fruit would be there. So, yeah. So there you go. I tanked my channel so hard it succeeds when I stop uploading. You consider doing a no damage Rondo Blood run? That would be a game I would like to do a no damage run of, yeah. Definitely. It would be the next choice after Alien Soldier and or Resident Evil 4, but it would be the next one I would pick after those. And obviously Bayonetta as well. So, and you know, I have a feeling it would be easier than something like, well, it would be kind of easier than Resi 4. The thing about Rondo Blood is you would have to do no damage for a very sustained period of time, start to finish, like Alien Soldier. So there's that. But yeah, it would be one I would definitely be interested in trying. All right, yeah. I don't know how viable it is though. I don't know if there's much RNG that actually guarantees hits or anything. Because I've beaten it a few times, but I do find the boss rush to be a little bit hard. But it's the kind of thing where when I haven't memorized them, you know. So maybe there's just a cheap way to kill them all easily. I don't know. I had the fucking settings backwards for what I was supposed to have them on. Yeah, the development's going pretty well. It was a good day today on it. I still have the collision stuff nagging at me in the back of my mind, but anytime I work on anything else, it goes much better. So, yeah. I was actually, you know, I forgot to say, I looked at the skins for this game. I can't believe it doesn't have a Championship Edition skin. What the fuck were they thinking? That's like the one thing I would be tempted to buy for this game. The neon colored borders that change color and stuff. I think that was a great aesthetic. Oh, I only have 2 speed. That's really bad. And I'm in trouble. I need to... Okay. Tempting to go up for that top hill, but I won't. Whoever this is pretty good. It's maybe a bad choice to go after all the ghost pickups. It's really nice to eliminate someone near the end of the game and you just get a shower of medals. Pretty satisfying. This is a really good position. Oh! Yeah, let's get him. This is a really good position to be in. Oh! It's not so good anymore. Fuck's sake. That sucked. That fucking sucked. Now, give me a second here. God. That did feel quite look based. I don't know. Because it was fine like 2 seconds before I died, and I don't really feel like I made a mistake. I don't know. Does it bother you that you never finished your Metal Gear review series? No, not really. a little bit. The problem is that when I made it, it was finished, you know. And the things like the Zelda review series or the Mario review series, they'll never be finished because those series will outlive me. They'll still be making Zelda and Mario when I'm in the grave, you know. So I never could review all those games. It just happened to be that Metal Gear ended with the very next fucking installment after I did my review series. Plus, you know, they were always kind of incomplete in the sense that there's no Metal Gear 1 or 2 reviews in there either. Me going completely off course was trying to read the chat. See how much I can actually divide my attention here. I can kind of see the chat if I have blurry vision. I can kind of keep blurry vision of the game board while I'm reading the chat. Is it Saturday night that Fry says in the clip? Or a Friday? I thought it was Friday. It's Saturday, yeah, it's Saturday night, yeah. What's Shasta like, actually? That's what he's drinking, right? He's got a 2-liter bottle of Shasta? What is it? Is it orange flavored or something? I don't know what it is. I don't think we've ever had that here, whatever it is. No, that's a nasty train there. There we go. All right. Actually, I think I wanna be slick and say, you know, just a huge train and immediately kill them. But that probably didn't have time to have an effect on him, unless maybe a red jammer spawned in directly on top of him or something like that. I don't know, actually, yeah, that one happened at about the same time. Maybe it's just red jammers landing on people, which I don't feel too good about. He says with a huge smile on his face. This is round 8, defensive round. Oh, holy fuck. Oh, that was a good match. That was a good match. Master A1. Good match. Will your game have reasonably sized noses? I don't think it'll have any noses. I suppose it'll have one nose, maybe. Or two? Maybe two? If it has a nose at all, it's going to be like 1 pixel big, probably. That sounds pretty reasonably sized to me. I was expecting, you know, I know I don't always give the audience, I don't give the people what they want all the time, like, you know, 10 Pac-Man streams in a row or whatever, but I was surprised that nobody mentioned the unreasonable thing in the Breath of the Wild video. I didn't see anybody mention it at all. Or what did I say? I said questionably reasonable. I don't know if anybody even picked up on that's what it was, a callback to the Ocarina thing. I was talking about the Wizrobes, and I don't even know how many people noticed it. It got overshadowed by another joke, which was good, which was a good one. I was glad people liked that one. I thought it came out pretty well. But yeah, I don't even know if anybody picked up on what I was doing with that one. But you know, I thought I was like, I didn't want to make that one as though it was just a continuation of the same review series from many years ago. That's why it doesn't even say it at the start to go and watch the other videos. But I did want to honor those old videos somehow, and having a little joke in there was a nice way to do it, I thought. You did, but you're still cringing from literally inspired design. Yeah, I like that one as well. I like that one as well. I think the biggest improvement I made over the last couple of streams, and maybe a little bit offline on this, is keeping an eye on the red jammers and allowing them to move a little bit to get the fuck out of my way. I think that's a big improvement you can make. Just making sure that they're not about to cut off your path to wherever it is you're trying to go next. Look at all them medals he was hiding from me. I'm gonna let him move. Oh, I didn't see Blinky. Focused on the red jammer too much. Okay. Tried to get fancy and it it is kind of, yeah. Yeah. Not a skeleton. Or oh, you're just skeleton now. You've embraced your skeleton. You've embraced your skeletal nature. I see. You used to be not a skeleton, but now you're skeleton. Yeah. I'll say what I'm laughing at. Skeleton still couldn't figure out what literally inspired design means. It was when I'm talking about the the Rito. Is it Rito or Ruto? I can't remember. Rito or Ruto. The spire that they have in Breath of the Wild. I say it's a literally inspired design because it's actually a spire, you know, that it's on. But I do really love the design of that town. I thought it's brilliant, like this little perch. It's great. It makes sense as well, you know. I think that was my favorite. I didn't talk about it in the review, but I think that is my favorite sort of little past Zelda homage that they have in Breath of the Wild, is the way you walk into the town and all that the music starts swelling, do 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 do, you know, and it sounds like it's going to be something completely different, and then you hear the Dragon Roost theme rendered in a new way. Obviously, I thought that was really nice. You know, I'm not big on callbacks, but they can be done. They can be done well. Like saying questionably reasonable. I think maybe some people get the mistaken impression that I hate callbacks altogether, because I was very critical about it in Dark Souls 2. But I think the big problem with that is just that it's a dark fantasy game, and the whole Solaire thing is it just was really cheap. I think it just wasn't a good way to do it. It wasn't a good, and it just didn't make sense for the character, I think. Hey, this is a big spoiler for Dark Souls, but personally I think that the best and most interesting thing about Solaire and kind of the core of his story was just that he was a normal guy. You just find out at the end of the game that he was just a normal guy, you know? And I think having him be like a figurehead for some fucking thing, even if it's just like a statue or whatever, it's just having his movement go on without him, I just don't think it made much sense, especially in a dark fantasy setting, you know? I will say, I don't hate callbacks altogether, but I do also think that, you know, even outside of something like a dark fantasy game, I think that there are good and bad ways to do them. Well, that was close. That's some protection from the other guy. That's important. Large PP man. Indeed. Indeed. All right. Nintendo, ban this man! Ban this man! I'm getting banned for beating me. The Pac-1 went to your head, yeah. I'm sorry to say, but large PP man is me. I'm playing on 2 different accounts at the same time, alright? So, I got first and second place in that last game. Kamiya makes callbacks in all of his games. Yeah, he does, yeah. I think it's an example of how to do them well, for the most part anyway. I know a guy who, he played Beautiful Joe, but he never played Devil May Cry, and he didn't know who Alistair was, but nothing seemed out of place, you know? It was just another guy, it was just another enemy. Well, that actually freed up this pill, so that's okay. Oh, fuck's sake. Didn't see it. I do have my headphone bandana on, so I heard the audio cue, but I didn't catch it. I like Spanish subtitles added to the video. No. YouTube got rid of the thing to do that, and I don't want to be, you know, grabbing files off a bunch of people and stuff to do them all. It's just a bad system. I don't know why they got rid of it. I don't know why they got rid of it. It was open for contributions, but it's not anymore. Again, I know I don't need to keep the combo going, but it's just a good timer method to get through at a reasonable rate. I was looking somewhere else. I was looking at the top left for some fucking reason. Basically made the subtitle feature completely worthless since the auto subs are nonsense half the time. Yeah, but they just don't want to imply anybody. I mean, you didn't have to imply anybody to have the thing open, so I don't get that in the first place, but they just want everything to be automated even if it's not ready for it. Thoughts on Capcom changing the Resident Evil franchise formula? Well, that already happened with Resident Evil 4, and I haven't played 7 or 8, so I can't really say. I'm looking forward to playing 7 and 8 someday though. I don't know, that ship has sailed, so I don't know if it's worth worrying about too much. Maybe counter isn't actually working out for me. I'm getting more KOs and stuff, but I don't think I've been winning more since I started using it. And I was saying before that it is the kind of game where you can be worn down, you know? I don't even know exactly what Hunter does, but I presume it goes after the person with the most medals or the person it feels is doing well or something. But yeah, it's the kind of game where you can be worn down, so maybe I just haven't been attacking the leader enough, you know? So that when it gets down to the last stage, maybe they're having an easy game and I'm having a hard one. What I mean when I say you can be worn down is that I mean if you're forced to abandon a pill to eat the fruit, you know, you're now ahead of, you're pushed forward through the game. Or even if you're forced to go for the next pill sooner than you normally would, you're pushed ahead a bit, you know? I have a bad habit of. I've just realized this now. I have a bad habit of gliding past the fruit, like not attempting to turn. So I've been doing it in this round to make sure that I get to the train a little bit quicker. Because as you probably noticed by now, I like to, when it's time to get the fruit, I like to use that as my excuse to go pick up the train because, as I said in a previous stream, you're roughly equidistant from, you know, wherever the train could happen to be. But I don't turn around. I haven't been turning around to go and get it. Oh fuck, man, I have no... The fruit's not there. Oh, fuck's sake. Fuck! I'm wondering if the ratio of dots that you need to eat goes up or something. Because I feel like most of the time that would have spawned by then. There was one yesterday. It was an early round and it had 3/4 filled with dots. I'm pretty sure this happened yesterday. There was 3/4 filled with dots, and I ate like a quarter. I ate one of the quadrants, and I didn't even eat every dot in it, and the fruit spawned. I think that happened yesterday during a certain game. Whereas that one, it seemed like I had eaten over half of them. There was only a few little things in each corner. So I was really expecting the fruit to be there, and it just wasn't. It's not good. Ever watch Wolf's Rain? No. I think, is it an anime? I haven't seen it anyway. I don't even know what it is. Is it some fucking bestiality thing, or are you just fucking with me? It sounds like an anime. I don't know, maybe it's a porno video, but it sounds like an anime. It's just an anime, okay. No, I haven't done any of the rollback Guilty Gear or anything like that. Have you read Yokohama Kaidashi Kiko? I actually did read a bunch of it, yeah. You say I might like it because I like Girls Last Tour. I did read a bunch of it. I didn't like it as much as Girls Last Tour. I don't think I finished it. Maybe I did. Um, I can definitely see the similarities. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I could even see it as a progenitor of Girls Last Tour, and that you maybe the author read that and was inspired by it or something like that. So that's I'm not dissing it or anything, but I don't know. It's got that like slice of life vibe to it and all, but I just don't know. I didn't feel like there was enough meaningful stuff happening per chapter. Like. Maybe I need to go back and give it another go. I don't know. Maybe that's the wrong way of looking at it as well. Like you are just supposed to absorb it, and I can kind of see it as like a very pure anime or manga in that sense. It was the manga I read. I don't know if there's an anime version of it, but yeah, I don't know. Like I like that Girls Last Tour has a lot of that going on, but there's also a very clear thematic centerpiece in each chapter, or most chapters anyway. Some of them are a bit fuzzier than most, but yeah, I don't know. It's not that there's just more stuff happening in Girls Last Tour, even though that is kind of part of it, but I don't know how to put it into words, but there was something about it that didn't quite click with me anyway. It's not that, maybe not click is not the right word. It didn't compel me to carry on with it, I don't think manga quite suffers from the same sort of characterization. I think the characterization is maybe the difference, and I'm not saying that the characters in Girls Last Tour are really in depth or anything like that. They are certainly a bit more relatable since they're not androids, but it's not even that they're so human or fleshed out or anything like that. There is more of it's kind of a quality. I haven't seen many plays, but it's kind of a quality I would associate with plays where, like, it's something like Waiting for Godot, where the characters they're not fleshed out in that sense, but they represent something, you know what I mean? Like, it's Cheeto and Yuri, isn't it? I can't remember. I'm not good at memorizing shit. They definitely represent two types of human beings. You know what I mean? Like Cheeto is she's very scared of death and doesn't have as easy a time living in the moment and all that, and Yuri, but she's better at surviving. She has a better head on her shoulders for actually keeping herself alive and keeping them going, whereas Yuri, she has a much easier time accepting the world that they live in, but also is kind of useless at, or less useful at keeping them together in that situation. But she is the more useful one in the sense that she keeps their spirits up and stuff, and it's like it's a nice interplay there, and I think that was lacking a bit in the thing. I just don't know what kind of person the android represents, or if she even does represent a person. Maybe it's better that she doesn't, It does have a nice vibe to it, though. Alright. There's some kind of Japanese term for it, isn't it? Like, something about accepting the transience of things or something. There's some kind of term for that, and how there are stories that relate to this concept. They're both definitely stories of that type, whatever the term is. I can't remember the term. Critics have terrible taste. I don't even consider their opinions valid. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Mono no Aware, yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Not that I could really tell you what it actually means in Japanese. I don't know. Maybe it means... I know what mono means. I know Aware is like a fucking verb, so it means, you know, the something of things. That's the something of things. There you go. Can I go past him here? That was a bit of a risk, but it was an I take unnecessary risks all the time. I don't think I've lost a game because of a single stupid risk that I took today, but I certainly did yesterday. I lost like 2 or 3 that way yesterday. It would be nice to get more pack 1s. Your taste in game says game journalists. You meant game journalists. Okay. But my opinion isn't valid because I don't like Neo 2. I haven't played Neo 2. I wasn't bowled over by Neo 1 though, I have to be honest with you. I do think if it just ditched the Diablo loot system, that would be a big plus for me. I fucking hate menus. I just hate using menus. I think people are way too accepting of menu use, you know? For games that don't need it. The thing is, when it comes to games that have tons of loot like that, it just feels like so many of the decisions you make aren't meaningful at all. You know, you're just being a fucking... You're just looking at spreadsheets, and you're going, this number is bigger than the other number, but this other number gets smaller if that number gets bigger, and I'm like, okay, time to bust out the calculator. I don't actually use a calculator. In games that have this kind of shit, I just try my best to ignore it, you know? I just fucking plow through the game anyway, and sometimes suffer as a result, but that's the way, that will be the optimal way to engage with such a system, and it's just not very enjoyable. Ah, I was about to, yeah, okay, whatever, a win is a win. Zon, he beat me yesterday, so I got him back. I think it was him anyway. I'm going to take a break for a second. I'll be back in a sec. Hello. Hello, everyone. Back, I need to get this a bit closer. I really like the little blocky fade from one thing to another. I really like it. Thank you, Blockman. wherever you may be, however life may be treating you. This thing has probably existed in OBS for years, so. His Blockman code for Cameo. I was thinking it too when I said it. Yeah, thank you, Blockman. I was thinking that's what I'll say when I play Project GG, you know. There's probably a fucking Mega Man character called that somewhere in Japan or something, you know. This track isn't so bad. You know what they should do, actually? You know what they should... I don't know why this didn't occur to me. They should do a Championship Edition version. Championship Edition 99. Do I have to wait 30 or 40 years to get that? That would be fun. You know, with the dynamic board and stuff. Will I go for it? I'm gonna go for it. Oh, I regret it. No, no. No, and the guy who eliminated me got eliminated straight away. Matthew, unnecessary risks, mitosis. Yeah, that's me. Why do I do it? Why do I do it? I'm losing games left and right. Maybe I don't need to be on speed. maybe it's time to quit speed. Somebody said when you're on speed... Somebody said when you have selected speed, your attacks are weaker. I'm just thinking maybe it's worth... Because I'm not really going to have trouble in these early stages. Well, maybe it's worth trying to get through them quickly, but I end up sitting waiting at the pills sometimes anyway. see you're talking about remakes. I think people are talking about Blue Point, but it's made me remember that they're apparently remaking the first fucking Last of Us, and it's just a huge waste. You have to wonder, what's the point in Naughty Dog clearly breaking their backs to try and push the graphics on the console as hard as possible, if it's just gonna go, okay, we'll just remake it now a few years later? What's the point, man? It's such a... And you know, like, the only way people will accept a remake of the first Last of Us is if it's also has extremely high production values, so the remake has to look really good as well. Whoever this is being aggressive and they're about to get slapped. Here we go. See how he handles this. I know this is still a risk, but it was actually not an unnecessary risk there. I think it was the risk worth taking in that particular instance. That's a shame, because I could have bought some extra time. I was just a little too worried that I was going to run into him without the pill. Yeah. See, I talk about taking unnecessary risks. The problem isn't really... The problem is that I'm addicted to the dots. That's the problem. The dots, you just think, oh, a dot is there, I better pick it up. But if the fruit has spawned, there is no need. There is absolutely no need to pick up more dots once the fruit spawns. In the later rounds, anyway. There we go. I tried some Parma Violets because of your streams and they were hideous. Do you recommend any other candies? Not to charlatans such as yourself. I do not recommend further candies now. Wow, that really filled up consistently. This one's gonna fail, I think. No. I think the Joy-Con fucked me up there. I think it lost an input there when I tried to turn up or down. I can't even remember where it was. I missed the turn there, and I don't think it was my fault that time. I'm having terrible luck with technology lately. Just really, really terrible. I'm wondering if I'm an outlier or if things really have degraded to this point. Or shit just doesn't work anymore. When do you think we'll get more Wonderful 101 updates? Info about the Luca spin-off, if any. I don't know, but you can see that they're updating it on SteamDB. There's like a build of it that exists somewhere that is being updated. So I don't know. I don't care how long it takes. But I would have liked to see something by now. I did expect something by now, but well, it'd be pretty hypocritical for me to ask for something done fast rather than well. So. Personally, I don't know if I don't know if the Lucas stuff is actually going to turn out good. I mean, I hope it does, obviously. I'm not entirely banking on it. I really hope it does turn out well. I think it might not be that it might not be that great to play. It depends on how much effort they put into it, and I don't know if they have enough incentive to do that. But I think it'll be an enjoyable return to the world. I mean, it kind of depends on how much it has going on. But personally, as a big fan of the game, I would just be happy to play something that is Wonderful 101 related and is new. I mean, that just... If a couple of years ago, that would have seemed crazy to think that that would ever happen at all. So... but I do have high hopes for the remix soundtrack. I'm hoping that turns out well. I'd like anything, even for the Lucas stuff. I have high hopes and low expectations, because that's the best way to avoid disappointment, you know? But I would probably bet on the soundtrack being, the remix soundtrack coming out better. I have a hard time picturing how the Lucas stuff is going to work. I mean, it was clear they hinted that it would be kind of Beautiful Joe style thing. But I don't know how his abilities are going to tie in with that. But I mean, it depends on how much time has actually been committed to it. Because either, like, they probably haven't been working on it this whole time. Maybe they have. If they have, then they've actually put a significant amount of time into it compared to even something like Beautiful Joe. You know, I think Beautiful Joe is a great side scroller, and if it was up to that level of quality, I'd be very, very happy. But that takes a couple of years to do, at least, you know. And that was back then. It feels like, weirdly, development has kind of slowed down in a lot of places. You would think that the tools these days would make things faster, but in a lot of ways developers seem to be slower. And I don't just mean because of the coronavirus. I mean, I don't know. Like Beautiful Joe, it was behind schedule. It was supposed to take less time than it did, but it was still a pretty short development cycle, all things considered, you know? Whereas nowadays, it's hard to imagine games coming out that quickly. From a big developer, at least. And I don't know why. Well, like, Kamiya's career is a great illustration of it. You know, every game just takes longer than the last one, by and large. Maybe Bayonetta was an exception. Maybe it took a bit less time than Okami. I don't think so, though. I think every single game he's made has taken longer to come out than the last one. But that just seems to be a trend across the industry in general, you know? I think maybe there's more oversight these days, probably even in Platinum, even though they're out to foster creativity and all that. Especially because, if Platinum don't have a huge amount of runway to work with, on their budget. They don't have a lot to carry them forward, so there's probably a little bit more accountability, whereas like something like Beautiful Joe, maybe it was just you get the impression that Mikami is quite hands-off in the first place, and then it was like, okay, well, this is the director who did Devil May Cry, and that was a big hit, and he did Resident Evil 2, and that was a big hit, so like we'll just kind of leave him alone, and maybe they were willing to admit that they don't know anything about developing games, the big producers or the people who manage the money at Capcom back in the day, and they were just like, well, we'll just leave him alone, and maybe you don't get that anymore, so maybe that bogs things down. I don't know, I'm trying to think what it is, because there's no doubt that the tools these days are better. It should be faster and easier to create all the assets and stuff. They do have to be higher fidelity though. Oh no. That was a bad loss. I thought they missed the chance. Again, it was greed. It was greed. Just trying to go after the ghost train. That was a bad loss. The leveling gets really, really slow after a while. Someone who's fucking level 100 must have played a lot of games. Or maybe it's just because I'm not winning as many. At the end of the day, I still like Kojimbo despite how much I also hate him. Yeah, I haven't really like speculated on Project GG much or anything on stream, but I will say I don't like the visuals that they showed for it so far. That's one thing. Obviously I have a huge amount of respect for Kamiya. I think that's abundantly clear, but I see the trend of his games generally just getting better over time and addressing things about the action genre that I think should be addressed and stuff. But I don't know. I think that's one reason why I'm skeptical that Project GG can actually dethrone the Wonderful 101 for me. Just the art style alone is already something that doesn't. Who knows what the actual game looks like? But I think also it depends on what kind of game it is, because we don't even know if it's a straight up action game. They kind of hint that maybe it's not, maybe it's a bit different. So there's that too, But if it is a straight up action game, like all of his other games except Okami and Resi 2 have been straight up action games. And it seems to be his forte, but like if it is a straight up action game, I just don't think those kinds of graphics are the right call, at least yet. Maybe there's a way to do them better in the future, but the realism kind of stuff, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because I think it muddies the playfield and it makes things ambiguous that don't necessarily have to be, and that's what it tends to do anyway. And that's just one reason why I have such a fondness for the Wonderful 101, is it just jettisons that. It's not that I looked at it and I went, wow, I really want to play a game that looks like this. I'm always interested in games that have art styles that are a little bit different. And it did really grow on me when I was playing it, but it wasn't a big draw for me before I played it or anything like that. But now that I have played it, I do think it's a big part of why I like the game. It's something that I touched on in the the God of War video. This would be something I would say if I ever got around to making that wonderful 101 commentary. But it's a lot like, in terms of the level construction, the clarity of the graphics, I don't think you get anything like that after the PS2 era, apart, and like God Hand is a PS2 game as well. You just don't get it anymore in action games. This sense that, you know, the playfield is just this series of geometric shapes, and you know exactly what's going to happen with everything inside it, you know? Like, for example, if you put me in charge of a Wonderful 101 sequel, and it was like somebody comes up and goes, look, we have all this extra memory now, and we have a bunch of the base systems in place, and I'm the enemy design guy, and like, what do you want to add to the enemies? I would say, well, it would be nice if some of them had some kind of wall splat effect, you know? If we could do that, even just on, you know, the basic kind of Dogu, the big Dogu guys. And you could put that in the game, and it would work perfectly, because all the levels are just this simple geometry, you know? You would know exactly where and when an enemy would trigger into a wall splat. And it would be another hit reaction you could build into the game, and like, you know, people could work it into combos and stuff, or it could have advantages where the enemy gets locked up for an extra couple of seconds that they wouldn't have otherwise, or whatever, you know? You can build all that in, and it's already there. You don't have to do any extra work. It's just the visuals already make sense for that. I'm gonna die because I was talking. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Do people know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? That kind of stuff is important. I think people want to believe it's not important. It is important. Is this microphone on? Am I making any sense? I think people want to think it's not important, but it is. It's not the be-all, end-all. It's not the only thing that matters about a game, but it's not something you just completely ignore, you know? So that would be one worry that I would have for Project GG, is just that the realistic style of it is going to make certain things unclear. I don't want that to be the case. But maybe the premise, maybe it works for the premise, I don't know. Again, we don't know what the game is, but if it's a big kaiju battler game, I can see how it would suffer if the visuals are too abstract or cartoony, and that it doesn't actually then allow you to feel like you're living out the fantasy of, you know, all the destruction going on around you or whatever. But yeah, but I don't think that's a strong enough excuse, or like it doesn't completely eliminate the issue of, yeah, this makes certain things unclear, and that's bad, you know? So, if you're confused about why I enjoy the Wonderful 101 so much, it's because it's just a perfect confluence of stuff like that for me, as far as I'm concerned. It's just a perfect confluence of, all the shit that you hated about action games, that you like, that everybody else seems to just want to ignore. It's all gone, you know? We just got rid of it. Enjoy, you know? And also there's all the other stuff as well, like it has a cool weapon system, and you know, it's actually it's got designed enemies, and you can do fun combos and things with it, you know, all that too. But a large part of it is also just eliminating a bunch of shit that had no reason to be a problem in the first place, you know? Would you have enjoyed the Wonderful 101 more if it got rid of the minigame stuff? Kind of, since I already, you know, I said a wall splat would be a nice inclusion for a sequel. If I'm also continuing to spitball about a sequel, I assume this isn't the direction Cameo would go with it, but if it was me, I would, is that I would stop having minigames be such a harsh break from the main game, and instead try to work them into the core gameplay a bit more, you know? I think there's a better middle ground to be struck, where you are actually still just controlling the team the way you normally do, but something else is happening. And actually, some of the minigame sections are like that. And I think those tend to be the best ones. Like the bit where you're inside the ship and you control it by just controlling the team the way you normally do. I think that's good. But even some of the ones that are just a complete break from the norm, like the Punch-Out one, I said this before, if they came out with a sequel and it didn't have a Punch-Out boss, I would be disappointed. And I think anyone who actually loves the game would feel the same way. Because some of them work really well and you would want to see it back again. And the Punch-Out one is definitely one of those sections. And, you know, it's not to say there's no room for improvement. I think there is room for improvement even in the Punch-Out bits. But I would be disappointed if a sequel didn't have one. And of course the sequel can try and improve on them a little bit. Like, I think the combos and things that the enemies try to throw at you could be better in the Punch-Out stuff. And some of the attacks they throw at you, I think this is in the tutorial video where, like, you kind of don't need to... Some of them you can respond to them the same way, and if whichever one it turns out to be, it's not a big deal. Like, the best thing that they do in the Punch-Out one is the blue dragon attack thing that in the penultimate chapter, where you have to be reading his hand movements while you're dodging the initial set of attacks. I think that's a really cool attack, and I'd love to see more stuff like that, or just more complex attack patterns for the Punch-Out stuff in general. There's some stuff I wouldn't want to bring back, obviously, but if you go, oh, we're just going to cut every minigame, that's not, I don't think that's a true sequel to the Wonderful 101, if you just cut every single minigame and Divergence. The goal isn't to cut them, the goal is to integrate them a bit better into the core of the game. Now, that's what I think, anyway. It's just part of the DNA of the series, you know? You can like it or lump it, but it is what it is. It feels like when I win, they're easy. I get easy wins and hard losses. That's not good. Is the Wonderful 101 the WarioWare of action games? It has a little bit of that in there, yeah. How do you feel about Roach Ravager compositions in TVZ? I have no idea. He did remind me of something, though. Watching Flash do those random games, man, that was so good. It was so good. The thing where he won, like the match where he won with all three races, and then the last portrait comes up and it's the Z with the little shush thing. So good. I think maybe that's the only time I've ever been watching an esport live where I went, oh, this is an actual esports history moment in the making. You know what I mean? It was so fucking good. He just rolls all three races in a row, trios the guy, and the last thing is Zerg, and he's just fucking... Oh, it's beautiful. I think if I remember it right, the way that worked was that... Yeah, I mean, the way it worked is that if he rolled Terran, it was basically a win. But Zerg was also really advantageous for him as well. I haven't played much Brood War, but Zerg was also really advantageous because the player has to prepare as though he's playing Terran, and then he just fucking six-bulls them. And it's just... it's dirty. It's dirty. Like I said, I wouldn't want the whole game to devolve into that randomness, but it's just amazing to see someone actually pull it off. And I was trying to park in the corner. I was trying to read the chat while I parked in the corner there next to that pill, but I missed the turn. I missed the dot. Keep trying to read the... It's fucking... I tried to read the chat. I fucked something up in the game. I realize I have to fix my mistake, and then nothing from the chat has gone into my brain. It's the worst of all worlds. I play really terrible games to stream for chat interaction. Really fucking terrible. I still don't know what possible... I don't know what possible moves the red jammers have. I feel like maybe they can... I don't know. They must be able to move in any of the 4 directions when they spawn. I had an intuitive sense that that one was going to go up, but I was fucked a minute ago. I was fucked if the red jammer decided to turn around and get me. But I did have a sense that I was fine. I was like, he's moving up. Somehow I had a feeling that he was moving. Like, I'm wondering if maybe something has gone into my subconscious that I don't really get yet. Or, I don't know. Confirmation bias, maybe? I definitely want to be on counter. I should have been on counter a long time ago. That was a really bad spawn. Ah, that was a really bad red jammer spawn that I got a second ago. That cut me off. Okay, we're in better shape now. The greed does me in. I shouldn't have fucking killed Clyde. Why did I go for him? I'm just bitter. I'm just bitter that he betrays me. Yeah, I talked a little bit about the Game Garage thing on the last stream. I think it's probably good for kids. Obviously I'm not interested in using it myself, but I think if I was young when it came out, I probably would have spent a lot of time in it. And that's surely the audience for it, you know? So, I don't know, I don't really see any problems with it. You could maybe quibble and go, you know, nobody, or very few people anyway, actually build real software with those kinds of drag and drop interfaces in the real world, so you shouldn't train a kid that way. Maybe there's something to be said there. I do actually think, I don't know, I think maybe it would benefit from even more abstraction. Like, it's kind of in a weird, it's kind of in an uncomfortable middle ground where it might not be that enjoyable to use that you're just going to use it for the sake of using it. I'm just thinking that maybe the more effective way to get children thinking along these lines is to give them some kind of light, very, very light Zachtronics style kind of game, you know? Something that gets you thinking along these kinds of lines, but also just has challenges set out for you to complete rather than the open-ended approach. But I don't know, kids are more used to the open-ended thing because of Minecraft and stuff. There's a lot of open-ended games these days, so maybe it's just more common for them to go that way. I don't know, maybe I just wasn't that kind of kid. I mean, I never got into Lego or anything like that. I was never a Lego guy. I just preferred more directed stuff, you know? I like having a goal in sight, and I think it's kind of harder to give yourself a goal when you're a kid. It's hard to give yourself a good goal, anyway. You need, maybe this is probably built into it, but you need, you know, even Lego's got the picture on the box for you to make, you know what I mean? So, presumably there's some kind of stuff like that built into it, tutorials that get you to make something that approximates a game. I could have got an extra speed up there if I wasn't stupid. I suppose I still can. Greed nearly got me again there. And my dot addiction kicked in and made me take a long way around there when I didn't have to. The key to victory in this game is self-control. I'm going on Amazon after this and ordering fucking Marcus Aurelius's book or whatever the fuck it is. The Art of War, you know, self-control. Oh. Come on. Oh, fuck. Fuck, 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 fuck. Ah, this is a bad round 9. Come on. Is it there? It's not there. Ah, for fuck's sake. I wouldn't have turned if I didn't know the fruit. I mean, if I knew the fruit wasn't there, I wouldn't have made that turn down and I wouldn't have died instantly. I would have still been in trouble, but I wouldn't have died straight away. Maybe the fruit should draw over everything else. So I'm gonna know if a ghost is there. I don't know. I would have won if I survived like 2 more seconds. Is that true? I didn't see that. Yeah. Then the fruit not being drawn over everything else killed me there then. It cost me a game. I think it's a testament to the game's quality that I have happily played so many hours of it. But I do think some of the issues do grate on me a little bit. Like, I don't understand why the ghosts have to move diagonally like that. it's something that you can definitely compensate for mentally. You can go, okay, this is a bad time to grab him because if I do, the rest of them are going to go diagonally and that's going to be bad. But surely they could just go through the maze instead. I'm a bit of a KO thief. I tend not to get KOs at the start and then I just rob someone else's medals later in the game. I'm doing bad on dots here. I need to refocus on dots for a second. There we go. Nope. It's bad. Yes, that was a risk, but it was a calculated risk, and it appears to have paid off. It maybe would have been worth delaying there on that round, because it was an empty round and it might have been okay, but I'm not convinced. This is also a risk. Actually, this is a huge risk. Oh, fuck off. Oh, fuck off. I'm very unhappy about that one. I'm very, very unhappy about that one. That was fucking bullshit, man. That fucking sucked. That fucking sucked, man. Oh man, I just saw my reflection in the TV with this fucking headphone bandana and my mood has gotten even worse. Jesus Christ. That sucked. That really sucked, man. What could I have done? I tried turning to try and get out of the fucking thing to kill them all and it didn't work, and maybe I could have gone left. I don't think it would have worked. I don't think there's anything I could have done there. I wouldn't call it a disgusted silence, but I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I'm watching that one back. I'm watching that one back. And if anyone says you could have gone for the fruit, fuck off, okay? Because it would have been the wrong call. It wouldn't have been the right call. The right call is not to go for the fruit all the time. I mean, you could say that about half of the time that you die in this game. It's just, you know, you could have eaten the fruit earlier to get rid of all the red jammers, but that's not a strategy that wins the game. So you can't posit that as an answer. No one said that. Good. 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 I am bitter about that one. I'm being honest. I'm bitter. I'm bitter. Oh, I need to sit up straight. My fucking back is killing me now as well. Yeah, I'll play Resident Evil Village eventually in the year 2039. When people stop mining crypto. There's at least one guy in the chat with his fucking crypto, his miner fucking program on the other tab, smirking at me, you little prick. I'm gonna turn on super chats to get my cut. My GPU is a 970, GTX 970. It's not bad, but I have a really old processor, so processor is like 10 years old now. I know I could just kind of upgrade incrementally, but I really want a full refresh at this point. I don't have an SSD either, you know, so it's just time to pull the trigger on, or it was. I really thought I was about to upgrade, and that didn't fucking happen. If I had been able to get one of those Nvidia cards at the price they actually advertised, then it would have been time. If I get another red jammer soon, okay, counter. You've signed your own death warrant. There we go, he's dead. On to the next one. I am considering switching to full-time counter because it seems to work out pretty well. Maybe if you do counter, it focuses your attacks on a single target more or something than using hunter. I seem to have much more luck with counter. Maybe it's just, I suppose it is partly the game is dragging on at this point, and therefore when someone gets eliminated, you're much more likely to have been the person who eliminates them, all other things being equal. really bitter. I'm really bitter right now. I think this is the first time I've actually been disappointed with the game so far. I don't know, man. The losses haven't felt so good today. God. They were bad spawns. Admit it. Admit it or you're banned. They were bad spawns. I'm doing alright. I should be happy to be ranking at the top so consistently, I suppose. Instead, I will choose to be happy that it was a good day's work today. I did a good day's work today. Good chunk of progress. I have to say, I have found it harder to focus on Proxima than on the Teoform mod. You would think it would be the other way around. I don't really know what the explanation is. But it was easier to focus on the mod. Maybe it's because the results were so immediate, and I don't know, just because I like the game so much. But today it was really easy to focus. It's the benefits of a good night's sleep. I just like the Wonderful 101 more than my own game. Well, I do. I have no shame admitting that. We're gonna do the riskiest risk we have ever risked, and I did it. Now I expect kudos, and I expect them now. I expect them promptly. Chat, I expect kudos for that. Specifically, let the red jammer go into the gap between the dots, so that I could eat all the dots. And you dare say I'm not Pac 1? You dare to say that I'm not Pac 1 after that maneuver. We all know who the real Pac 1 is. We know. We all know, and it's me. Oh no. Okay, there we go. I'm just faking you. I'm just, you know, I gotta build drama for the stream, so. I had a feeling that was Blinky. I couldn't tell, but I had a feeling. Is their behavior somewhat consistent even when they're blue? I haven't really thought about that, but I had a feeling that was Blinky, just from the way he was coming towards me. I'm dead. Fuck this, man. Fuck this. Look over the chat and I see from probably like 2 minutes ago, Matthew just jinxed this round. There's no such thing as a jinx. And that's that. No, Leon, I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm open to anything like that, so I don't know what you'd want to send me, but I don't want to do any collaborations or anything like that, so. Now we have another Leon in the chat. Were you named after the Leon? I mean, the Leon S. Kennedy, were you named after him? I should have looked at the bottom right corner there to see what the situation was. It didn't come back to bite me, but it's kind of interesting, I suppose, that, you know, I do technically make all kinds of mistakes that you don't even see, because by the time it could become a problem, I've kind of corrected for it. You know, like I went down to the bottom right corner and it was okay because the pill was still available, but it could just as easily have not have been, because I was kind of zoned out and not focused on that part of the map the way I should have been. I should be looking where I'm going. I fucking hate eating a fruit while there's still a pill there. I hate it. You have to have your vitamins before your fruit, you know? That's just the way of the world. Mom, where's the fucking fruit? That's just horrendous. Horrendous. Find yourself consciously thinking about the moment-to-moment gameplay. Yeah, partly because I feel like I should be saying something. I think I should play this off stream more. I might do some more soon off stream and just let it sink into my head a bit more. I feel like it's a better way to improve. You wanted to offer coaching for programming. You work in the video game industry and like the way I talk about it. I appreciate that. I hope I don't come off as dismissive or anything like that. That is the kind of thing that I would... I mean, I've never been more tempted to reach out to people than when I was doing the slope stuff. Because I feel like there's maybe some people I could reach out to who would respond, who would have a very good idea of how to fix that for me in a day, you know? But I just don't want to do that just yet. I was ready to type this up into the latest blog post. I just still want to maintain my distance from the industry for now, which kind of sucks, but I just feel more comfortable discussing things when I'm not connected like that, you know? And I just think it's the way things should be. I don't know, there's some people that are very comfortable with it already. But maybe if I establish myself as a developer who actually can make something good, then I could... I don't want to be rude to people. I don't want to go, oh, your game sucks, you know, or whatever, but I don't want to be dishonest either when people ask me what I think of something. I don't think it's helpful to go, oh, that game is shit, because there's usually a redeeming quality in anything you can play, first of all. But yeah, I just feel more comfortable working by myself. I have to leave the safety net of the channel open. I have to feel like I can flip a switch and go back to working on it whenever I want. I have actually been tempted to go back to writing. I said this before, I feel like since I started on development, it feels less urgent now. It feels like once I've started it, I already feel relieved in a way, you know? And that's mainly what I was looking for. So, I had a good idea today for the channel, actually. I think it's maybe a good idea, I don't know. I think it's something that some people wouldn't like, kind of like meta micro videos, where I can understand why some people wouldn't like that one as much as the other two micro videos things, because it's about games, but it's also not about games, kind of, at times, and this one would be similar in that way, but I think it's an idea I would pursue. I feel like I stick to the topic enough that I should have license to step out of it every once in a while. You know what I mean? Yeah, I took another risk, I know. Yeah, so I hope that's understandable to people. I appreciate that, Leon. I could reach out someday. I don't know. Yeah, I appreciate it. It's nice just to hear in the first place that you would like to help. I need to think about what I'm going to write in the next blog post. I haven't thought about it that much. I might talk about platformers a little bit. Blinky must die. Oh, I've been on train this whole time. Oh, I've been on speed this whole time, I mean. I've been on speed this whole time. Whatever, we're doing it. Get through round 9. This should be a win unless I do something stupid. Okay, there we go. My favorite part of Meta Micro videos is when you say saying one to refer to someone as pompous. I didn't say it was pompous exactly. I actually think it is the correct term to use in some cases, but I do think you kind of need a more pompous tone to pull it off than I have. But actually, you said I use one when talking about classical music. I do it on a couple of occasions. I say if one were to ask me, and I use it a couple of other times. I think I did genuinely substitute it for any time where it made sense to use one instead of you in that whole video. Imagine coding in anything other than C++. Yeah, I'm waiting for Jai, so you can fuck off with your C++. Yeah, I think I would be more open to C++ these days. You know, I've known about the theory of language and all that. Like, I was a programmer, right? But I wasn't doing any really deep stuff before, and I've known about the theory behind so much stuff for a long time. I really can't stress how much doing the Teoform mod increased my familiarity and comfort with, like, there's a whole world between theory and practice, you know? And just when you see it and you go, okay, these are all the memory values, and, you know, this is what's happening on an assembly level, and this thing is being stored. This, like, one thing that I had to do was I had to isolate the single bit, which, what the did you all see that? I'm not going crazy, am I? I just teleported to the top of the screen there, right? I don't know if anybody's even watching. That happened, right? Or did I end up walking all the way to the top without noticing? I wasn't really paying attention to the game, so maybe there was no teleport? Really? I thought I was parked in the corner and I wasn't, and I was answering the question. I think that's what happened there. I just walked. Okay, sorry. Right, what was I saying? Yeah, so you see all the assembly and you see the memory values, and like one thing that really clicked for me, that really hadn't in a way before, and again I knew this consciously, but one thing that really clicked for me is the way that the program itself is stored in memory. You know, like, you know this, but then when you see it, it's a whole different ballgame. Like, yeah, of course, the instructions have to be somewhere, right? The computer has to jump from one instruction to another somewhere, and you go, oh, it's all in the same fucking thing. It's all in RAM, obviously, you know, like, it's all there. And, you know, the computer just reads some things as instructions and other things as values, and it just clicks. It just clicks in a way that it didn't before. But one of the things I had to do for a previous version of the mod was I had to isolate the single bit that decides whether or not you have the Mixmaster bottle cap, and it really is one bit. So I'm like, okay, I have to figure out how to just flip a single bit. And then I went, oh, I have to use a bitwise AND operation to, you know, go in and make sure that all the other values stay the same as they were, but this one value changes. And that's exactly, and that kind of helped when I was making the tile stuff. You know, like, I got a lot of it from that video that I linked. Well, the thing is, that video, he doesn't explain anything. You know, he just kind of writes it all down and is like, well, there you go. There's how you know, and it was useful to go, oh, okay, right, so this is a bitwise AND, and if I think about it on a binary level, this is happening. So I really cannot stress how valuable I think the mod thing was. It's kind of like the development blog 0 in a way. It turned out to be really valuable. Actually, I don't know why I flipped to counter. I'm having a nice quiet game over here. You two just leave me alone and kill each other. I think this is actually bad. I think this is bad. I'm gonna go for the fruit now. I've delayed too long, and now I'm in a really bad zone. I'm in a really bad round, and they're in a really good round. Probably. I need to get through round 8 and 9. So what's going to happen is one of them is going to die, and then the attention of the other one is going to just immediately flip to me. I got lucky there, didn't I? I wasted it. Well, they were both pretty good. They were both pretty good. I can't feel bad. That was a deserved victory there from Ryan. Well done. I probably will return to some programming stuff eventually on the blog. I am curious about when I started thinking more about the compiler. I think I linked a video on the most recent one about the compiler, and the guy shows a bunch of clever compiler optimizations. And I started thinking if some of the ways that you do things that are like, I don't know. I watched this other video and I don't know if it was I thought there was a lot of fat that could be trimmed. Now I think that about most things these days, you know, but I thought that there was a lot of stuff that could have been trimmed out of the talk. It was from a guy called Kevlin Henny or something like that, and it was at, I can't remember what the talk of it was. It was something like structured programming or something. And he shows like various examples of program, and like he kind of declares, you know, this is a structured program and this isn't, right? And it seemed a bit, I think he delved into the history of it too much and all that, but one of the things he got me thinking about was, like say you have a really simple function, right? And it's got two different possible return values. Most people would kind of, let's say you have like an if, and if A, return X, else return Y. Well, when you look at most people, when they program something like that, they will omit the else, right? Because there's no need, because the return statement does two things. It, you know, it chooses the value, and it also just gets out of the function. So it is a branching instruction of its own, and like there's no need for you to have an else after that. And maybe this isn't the best example, but I'm kind of thinking, I don't know, the way you set things up sometimes, maybe it's bad for the compiler. I was looking to see if there's some way to see the disassembly in GameMaker, and I don't think there is. I'm pretty sure when you're using Visual Studio, you can just click a button and see the disassembly of your program, so you can see exactly how it's being turned into assembly code. And I would be kind of interested to see that. I don't know. I'm definitely overthinking it, because the game I'm making doesn't need such low-level optimization. I think I did have some worries about something that I wanted to optimize, but I'm pretty sure I found a way to do that, and it's going to be fine. So I'm not that concerned, but I missed out on a speed boost here. And that's bad. I need to I'm fucked now. I'm too slow. I suppose what I'm trying to say is that some things that seem clever, like I'm gonna go and I'm gonna optimize it this way, is maybe you just make it more complicated for the compiler to do another even better optimization that you're not aware of. You know what I mean? Like there's levels of code fanciness that maybe hurt you more than they help you, you know? They make it less readable, and also the compiler probably has a harder time optimizing it itself. And in many cases, probably the compiler does a better job of optimizing it than you do. Because, for example, I would not have thought, maybe if there was some fucking mission in a Zachtronics game that you know, like kelp harvesting robot, where I shave off one line by doing this, I would have eventually realized it. But there's this thing that you can do where you can do branchless if statements by multiplying the output by the... How do I phrase this? Fuck, this is going to make no sense to anybody who's not already familiar with programming. You multiply the output by a condition, by like a statement. So you go, you know... Oh, fuck it. You can do... In certain cases, if you have a simple thing, you can easily write... If you have like a two... If a value is being set on an if statement, then you can very easily make that branchless on the assembly side of things, but the compiler is probably going to do that for you already anyway, is my point. So maybe you don't need to bother, you know? Because you're really just making the code less readable. Bank on the compiler more than yourself, yeah. Many people find branchless if statements more readable, myself included. Maybe there's a way to formulate them where that makes sense. I don't, though. I think the indentation of an if statement just makes it much more readable to me. I suppose you could indent it either way, though, so maybe I should try that. But the point is that if, depending on the if statement, the compiler is probably doing that anyway. It was a good round. Were you even conscious of it, Matt? Not really, no. I think I was more switched off than on for that one. It's weird that the wins feel easy. I haven't been clinching with... It was hairy when I was in the middle. I did get a bit lucky. All the white jammers were swarming me and Inky and Pinky were nearby. That was hairy. That could have easily gone very wrong. But apart from that, it was a pretty straightforward round. Matthew really said GG easy. I suppose I technically did, yeah. I don't know. I felt like I played better in the game that I lost, where I came third was it a couple of games ago now? I can't remember which one it was, but I felt like I played really good in that one, and then just a simple fucking thing tripped me up. You really have to respect the white jammers on the later rounds. They're not much to worry about in the beginning, but I think the longer the game goes on, the longer it takes for them to die. That's how it feels anyway. Maybe it's just because everything else feels so fast-paced later, but it really seems like they actually just take longer to die. Yeah, I mean, look at the amount of them that just died there. Or maybe they also have a bigger detrimental impact on your speed later. Yeah, I actually did a nice branchless thing today. I needed to use a shader for something, and it's the kind of thing where you could just thoughtlessly use an if statement, but instead I managed to make it not use an if statement, and there I think it was worth worrying about, because branches are expensive. You know, shader is obviously going to be called a lot, so... took my eyes off it for 1 second, assuming that that ghost wasn't Blinky for whatever reason. And I nearly lost it. Oh, that was like fucking on the right frame. A lot of white jammers here, Spad. Are there any new systems for games you have thought of but ultimately thrown out? I don't think I have anything like that. I don't think I have any ideas that are fundamentally new. I think maybe one of them. It's not really. But it's hard to. It's hard to. It's hard to come up with something like that, isn't it? I mean, what's fundamentally new these days? But yeah, I have a bunch of ideas, but they're mostly just sorts of combinations of things and different sort of. It's like a principle that I have in mind of, you know, oh, I could make a game like this, but if I stick to certain principles when making it, then maybe it can turn out to be an exceptional entry in its genre or something, you know what I mean? Thoughts on Jai? I don't know. It's not like I've used it. I hope it turns out well. But I really couldn't say. I imagine I would enjoy using it more than C++. You know, I think Jonathan is right in the sense that there's a lot about programming that's just not enjoyable. Like, you can imagine the way to productivity is to make it more enjoyable. I think you get a taste of that with the Zachtronics games and stuff, you know? You get the fun of programming without the boring shit. And it's intoxicating, you know? If actual programming was as enjoyable as a Zachtronics game, I would have no problem just doing it day in, day out forever. But it's not really. There's a lot of shit you have to do, and I don't know to what degree you can actually get rid of that. The things I dislike are learning. I know Jonathan would call this shallow knowledge or something along those lines, but you know, like you start using Game Maker, and then it's like, well, and now I have to learn how Game Maker does everything. You know, I have to go right. What's the sprite drawing thing? What's the thing that, you know? Like, how do I do a shader here? What's the... And... all those kinds of things, you know? Where the texture... How are the textures stored? Where does this go? But, you know... And... You have to learn all the documentation for that. That's the worst part. I don't know if Jai can actually address that. I don't think it can. That's what I think is the worst part. But then again, I've barely spent any time in C++, and I'm sure it has worse problems than that, you know? Well, I forgot to say this earlier. That's what I think I would be immediately more comfortable using C++ now, having done the Teoform mod stuff, because I think there's points where I've been using the Game Maker thing and I just thought, oh, I would much rather just use a pointer here than pass a whole object. Like, I imagine I'm calling a function and I imagine a copy of whatever variable it is that I'm using being passed through, but I know I just want to modify that variable, and I'm thinking if I could just put a pointer through, that would be faster and better and cleaner, and I would sleep easier, I would be happier, you know, because I would feel like I did something good by using the pointer instead of copying it. Um, but you know, it opens up a lot more problems and stuff like that as well. So if you make a game engine, you create those systems yourself, I'm pretty sure you would hate it even more. Yeah, probably. Game development already has a huge advantage in making programming fun by giving you satisfying results. I think that's true to some extent. I would say, though, that most commercial programming that's done, it has less satisfying results, but it's also far easier. So it has that going for it too. And you know, there's enjoyment to be found in difficulty and pushing yourself, but it's also taxing. It also does make it harder to sit down for a long session, I think. Yeah. There's probably, to be fair, there's probably some that are like the worst of all possible worlds, you know, where if you're working in something like the medical industry, my hat's off to you, because the results probably aren't satisfying, and it's probably still extremely difficult because it must be so rigorous, because if you fuck up, then, you know, bad things happen in the real world. So yeah, so games are definitely not the worst in that regard. I also imagine it's probably not that fun working somewhere like NASA or something. You get the big payoff when the thing lands on another planet, but before that, there's probably not a whole lot of payoff before that moment, you know? Am I interested in data science? Not really, no. I can't say that I am. I would definitely like to increase my skill as a programmer and become better and have a better feel on everything. Like, this is another thing I forgot to say. I've been meaning to say this on stream, but like, one of the things, maybe I'll discuss this more in a future post or something, but one of the things that working on the game has made me thankful for is that I'm really thankful I put in that bit in the Beautiful Joe commentary about programmers being de facto game designers, because I have a taste of that now, and I really do feel it's true. And I think that I think in the same way that I would like to get better at programming, I think programmers should probably be exposing themselves to a hefty dose of game design. I know if I was working with another programmer, I would want them to be thinking, I would want them to be very much on the same page about what the game is going for, you know? Like what it's trying to achieve and what style of implementation you need to achieve that, you know? I really do. I think that's true. Nah, I don't read books, man. I don't read books. Somebody asks, is there any programming books? You're like, I don't read books. I don't read the manual. I just go. I do think it's one of those things, though, that's definitely, if you're a hobbyist and you're going at it and you're watching tutorials or something, I think it's one of those things that's definitely worth exposing yourself. Like, I have actual work experience, you know, so that's a whole different ball game. Because the thing about tutorials is, I've done a few tutorials to get used to things like Unity and Game Maker and stuff on it. I think that they're good for getting up to speed on a certain system, but they're almost universally bad at actually instilling habits that will pay off in the long run, you know? And they sometimes mislead you into thinking something is going to be easier than it actually turns out to be in the end, because, you know, the implementation that they've done works in a few cases. And that's... I'm going to stay on counter. What the hell? I got a bunch of KOs there. I'm going to just stay on counter, I think. And that stuff will really come back to bite you in the long run. Maybe even the short term as well, if you're actually trying to make a game, you know? You need an understanding of decent ways to set up a project. Thankfully, I think I got some good exposure to that when I was at work, so... So yeah, the reason I say that is I don't want to be dismissive. I think that, you know, books probably do help in some cases to learn some important fundamental kind of shit about how you should set up your project and what kind of paradigms you need and all that. Like the fact that, for example, they you know, they might skip this in a tutorial. They might kind of jam some things together, but, you know, you really want a function to do one thing. You know, there are some exceptions. Like if you have a big update function in a player, then maybe you call a bunch of stuff from there, but generally it's just like a list of other things that you're doing with a few basic instructions or something in between. But like, by and large, you want to make sure that you have a function and it does something. It does a very clearly defined job. This is really bad spawns, actually. I'm fucked without the fruit. Whoa. Ah, come on. I played that. I played that well. Whatever. It's just a random loss. Fuck that. I played that well. It's amazing how quickly it fucking ends. I would have won. Tabs or spaces? I don't even know what I'm using in Game Maker at the minute. I probably would say spaces though. Maybe I should set it up so that I'm using spaces instead of tabs. I think I'm using tabs. Although actually, I watched some of Jonathan Blow's videos of programming, and he streams himself programming sometimes. I watched a little bit of it. There was a convention I had never actually seen before. I don't know how I'd never seen this, but a convention where when you... Maybe this is an argument for spaces instead of tabs, actually. I was going to say this would be a reason to use tabs over spaces, but you could do it either way, actually. Yeah, you could do it either way. Yeah, anyway. when he's setting a bunch of variables, it seems like anyway, I saw him do this at least once. When you've got like just a bunch of basic, you know, x equals 1, y equals 2, blah, 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 you got like a bunch of declarations in a row. You just put in some empty space so that all the equal signs line up with each other. And it just looks so much more pleasant. It's just way more pleasant to look at that way. I don't know why I had never seen that before, but as soon as I saw that, I adopted it immediately. And I think it makes everything... It has no real effect on the readability exactly even. Kinda does. But it just makes it more pleasant. Like, it just goes into your... Yeah, it kind of goes into your brain easier. I don't know. I had never seen it before, though. And, yeah, I started using that. So if you use tabs, you line them up really easily. But then you're kind of wasting space, and the equals maybe isn't as tightly aligned with the variable name as it could be. So, yeah, I think I will swap over to spaces. I think I'm a spaces guy. I use spaces in work, and I think it was the right call. But I'm just using whatever is the default in Game Maker. It's a mix, probably. It's probably this horrifying mix if you were to look at the code. The, you know, the invisible character things in the file. Should not be using tabs anywhere except at the start of a file. Yeah. At the start of a line. Yeah. Yeah, I think I will use spaces for that stuff going forward. I had been kind of tabbing them over until they all lined up, but... I look forward to receiving my medals soon. Thank you. Thank you for the medal. There they are. Oh, you motherfucker! Fuck you, piggy! God damn it. I have to get slapped down right when I'm being cheeky. What the fuck, man? Talking about space, whatever happened to that rogue Chinese rocket? That's pretty insane that they just let their shit drop over the... wherever it lands. For anybody who doesn't know, apparently when the Chinese fire off a rocket, they just let the fucking debris fall somewhere over the Earth. I should not have brought it up because now I like Matthew slightly less, yeah. This is why I don't answer waifu questions. I got my medals. I did get my medals, yeah. What good is a medal if it doesn't get you the pack 1, though? I'm going straight to counter, though. I want medals. Although, if I go counter... I don't know. If I go... Yeah, I suppose it's worth doing it. I'm just thinking it's more satisfying to not get kills and then get a big shitload of medals off one guy later on. But, yeah. If this actually works and counter nets me regular eliminations, then the whole game will get easier because I'll have those medals earlier. Like, I haven't had medals at the start of a match for a long time. It just hasn't been happening for me. And it must be the setting, because people are getting medals. There is medals afloat. The medal economy is going strong. I'm just not getting any. So there we go. But that doesn't protect you from anything, actually. You have to get a full medal. I presume that's actually a couple of eliminations or something. Because they get inherited. There's the KO. You just eat, if you just get a big train going and eat the train, you get the KO. It definitely has to do with the amount of them that you eat in quick succession like that. You see that was pro play there. Sometimes I do play well. I saw the red jammer down the bottom and I waited for him to get off the pill before eating the next one. Nah, not worth it. I think I'll die if I try to go for that one. That was a solid win. First you get the train, then you get the KO, then you get the medals. I've never seen Scarface. It's Scarface, right? I've never seen it. Oh, somebody says, for me, it's Makise Kurisu. I must have missed everybody listing off their waifus. I wasn't reading. How does it decide where to send the train? I'm pretty sure it's to the closest one, but I think maybe I have seen a couple of exceptions to that. Maybe. Or maybe it was just a trick of the eye or something where the distance looks different because the board is more vertical than horizontal or something like that. It seems to just go to the closest ghost though. Unless, oh yeah, it goes to the closest if none of them have one. But if they already have one, then it just goes to the end of that train. You can never have two trains. There's only one track. I would like to keep going, but my neck is really starting to hurt. So I think I'm going to have to call it in a few games. Been 3 hours already? Fucking hell. This is longer than the last stream already, isn't it? It's 2 o'clock. It's 2 a.m. Alright. Well, yeah. I suppose I did enough Pac-Man for one day. I suppose. Yeah, everybody. I went back and watched a little bit of the stream to gauge whether there was feedback on the audio. I didn't hear anything, but I didn't put headphones on or anything like that. But it seemed all right. But I saw somebody say the thing about watching this live is that I don't know if this is actually the last game or not. You know. So yeah, you don't know. I'm gonna keep you in suspense. You're not gonna know the last game until it comes. That's just a fact of life. Favorite bird? Epsilon Eagle. Favorite bird means favorite waifu in slang. Is Epsilon Eagle best bird? Yeah, I think so. I'm getting wins now. Now that it's time to pack it in. So I finally revealed my waifu. It's an excellent choice. I just can't resist the cloaca. You know? I don't even know what a cloaca looks like. I don't know how much similarity it bears to either of its human equivalents. I just know the word, and I wanted to use the word. Lamias. Oh, I suppose they probably would have a cloaca. Do snakes have? Are snakes the same? Snakes would be the same as birds in that way, wouldn't they? They're all the same kind of shit, right? I never thought about that. A lamia probably would have a cloaca. Puts a whole new spin on the SMT, the demon. Snakes, they have a twin penis. I think you're right about that too, yeah. Clyde, you fucking son of a bitch. I had a joke in mind there, but I'm leaving now. Ah, fuck it. Someone says, give me that Medusi. As in Medusa, I presume. You know. Medusa makes them hard. You know what I mean? You know, cause the whole stone thing. Right? So then you could have a stone penis then. Maybe. Maybe if she looked at your penis, you would have a stone penis. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Boo. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. There was a good joke to be made there, but it didn't arrive on time. Where are you going with this? It's probably just taken as a given. For some people in the chat, well, yeah, of course, you know. Whatever gets your rocks off. was unfortunate. Chat is entertaining itself, so I don't feel the need to intervene. Still playing them Monster Hunter games. Yeah, I'm on Freedom Unite and I'm on the 9-star things. I think it's 9-star. I'm on the higher level stuff. It's better than the first game, but I don't know. I think the thing I will say about Monster Hunter is it's easy playing. It's very easy to pick up and play and just lose some time on it. The hitboxes get much better. Well, I hope so. I do think there's some instances where you know I'm not a fan of this kind of stuff. There's definitely some instances where you just eat damage, you know? And that's it. Like I was fighting Yangaruga. I wanted to kill him a few times to get some gear. And I'm fighting him and I got good at fighting him. I already fought him before. This is the second encounter with him, you know, the stuff, the cat quests, right? But sometimes you're fighting him and he screams and then that's it. You just, like, you don't recover quick enough from the scream to do anything, and he does a move that comes out faster than your recovery and you just eat shit, you know? That's just one example. It happens with other things as well. And I know, because I the reason I'm getting his gear is because I liked the previous tier of Yangaruga gear, which had the hearing protection thing on it, but it didn't work a lot of the time. And even then, you can't just say, well, you have to use a piece of gear to avoid that, or else you take damage, you know? Not when it's something that's so rare. Hearing protection has 2 tiers. Yeah, I gather as much. But the little manual in the house basically makes that clear. But I don't know, it's just... I don't really feel like I did much wrong there. I got cut off from the pill on the right and it was just kind of game over then. But yeah, the earplugs thing, it's just... It's not enough for me to go, okay, well now just wear this piece of gear, because now every other piece of gear is invalidated, because to me that's a big problem. And it happens with other monsters as well, I'm pretty sure. I would have to like test it, but I know for sure it happened with Yangaruga. Where he just screamed at me and then just ran at me and just hits you for loads of your health straight away. And it's times like that where I just go, what's the point, you know? If the point is just chug items and make it through, then that's not something that I'm interested in, you know? You can roll through monster roars. I don't think that's true. You can probably do the run and dive move. You can probably do the run and dive move because that has invincibility frames, but I don't think you can roll through them. But even then, sometimes they have like a thing where it kind of seems to happen when they lose a certain threshold on their HP. Every monster seems to go into a scream, or most of them seem to go into a scream when they lose a certain threshold of their HP. So you can be in the middle of comboing them, and they're like, they seem like they're doing something else, and they just fucking scream, and you're screwed then, you know? And obviously you can make sure that you have full health and all, but I feel like if I was to play the game in a way where I just don't know if there's any safe way to play without taking damage. You know, and if you don't feel like there's an actually genuinely really safe opportunity to attack, then it just feels like everything is a risk. And if everything's a risk, well, I might as well just play really risky and just get hit and chug potions, which isn't very satisfying. I should have waited there. I should have waited and let the clock run out on that. I'm not under pressure here, so I need to relax for a second. Now I'm under pressure. Great. Whoa. Pretty bad loss, but I do feel like I could have avoided that if I had turned around when I saw all the white jammers and stuff spawning up top. It's pretty hard to assess the entire playfield in that split second and decide which corner is the better one to go for, but yeah. I'm not going to decry that one as hard as some of the losses I've had. My main weapon, I used the great sword in the first game and the long sword in the second game. I think next game I'm gonna try a different weapon. I'd like to try the insect glaive and the switch axe and the charge blade. I wanted to use the sword and shield or the dual blades in the first game, but after a while I gave up trying them because it just felt like some monsters you really need the extra range to be able to smack their head or something and roll away. without putting yourself so far in harm's way. I'm gonna go for this one. Yeah, okay. No wonder I've got no fucking eliminations. I forgot to change my settings. Whoever's attacking me is pretty good, seems like. Maybe more than one person. I can't imagine this rate of attack from just one person. Oh, look at that! I got closed off from that. Come on, don't lose this because over that. Come on! Oh, come on! Completely fucking closed off from me. How do you feel about the RPG mechanics in Monster Hunter? It's not to my taste, you know. It's okay. There's a certain satisfaction in you kill the monster and then you make gear out of the monster, you know. But I don't know. I just wanna fight things. That's all. I don't want to go pick up fucking mushrooms and stuff and look at which gear I need to stop my hunter from shitting themselves every time a monster screams. You know, like, it wouldn't be the first thing that you would do is just cover your ears and also get used to it after killing 100 monsters. You would go, yeah, I think I'm ready for this one. You know, if I went skydiving, I'd probably shit myself. But if you're a professional skydiver, you probably just enjoy it, right? You're just there in the air going, oh yeah, this is nice. Okay, I'm gonna call it in a few games. It's been 3.5 hours now. We're gonna call it. My ability to talk and play is declining very rapidly. Let's hope we get one more win. I'll be happy with one more win tonight. It hasn't been too bad. I got a couple of wins there, so that's kind of made up for some. We got a lot of high places as well. There we go. Blinky must die. Oh, that wasn't Blinky! Oh my god, why did I think it was Blinky? Who was it? I thought it was Blinky. Alright, 3 more games maximum and then we're done. I might just call it if I win one and go out on a good note. If you win, then you need to try for a streak. Yeah, that's how they get you. I don't even know if the game tracks win streaks at all, actually. Probably doesn't. It does. I never talked about the leaderboard, though. The leaderboard is basically just who has won the most games, which is a really shitty way to do it. It has a weekly ranking as well, which is marginally better. But it was the same guy, some Japanese guy, I think. It's the same guy at the top of the leaderboard the whole first week the game came out. Maybe he's still there now. And I looked at it and I just felt sorry for him because he probably got there by accident. He goes and he checks the leaderboard and then he's like, oh, I'm at the top. Well, I better do nothing but play Pac-Man 99 for the rest of my life to stay at the top of the leaderboard. You know? It's just not the way it should work. I could have looked at Inky's eyes there and saw that he wasn't going to get me. And played it safe and waited even longer. Wait, hang on. Did his eyes... Were his eyes in the right position there? I was trying to read it. I couldn't... Maybe I'm just not used to reading it. Oh, his eyes only change when he makes the turn. Isn't that wrong? Shouldn't their eyes change before they make the turn? Am I right about that, or am I wrong? Do I not know my Pac-Man well enough? Either way, that's the way I would do it. You make their eyes change before they go through the turn. Maybe it's changed because it has to be dynamic, and you know they can't make a decision. But yeah, I'm not liking this. I don't know. Anyone know offhand? I would have said in the original Pac-Man that their eyes turn before they make a turn, and it warns you which direction they're about to move. But maybe I just imagined that? This is going to be a nice juicy one. I'm kind of surprised I didn't get a KO immediately after that one. Whoever it is dealt with it well. Because that must have been bad, because that was more than a full train. It was like the hyper train. Well, that was an easy one. I should stop saying that in case anyone who plays it watches the stream. I'm sorry. Sometimes it just works out that way. I'm not trying to be arrogant or anything. I've lost plenty of games today. I'm gonna try to remember. I'm not as focused because I'm deep into the session now, but I'm gonna try hard this one, and I'm gonna try to remember because the last round was basically a try hard round where I went and I stopped completely. I let the combo run out completely to lag behind everybody on the round counter. I can't do that at this stage because I want to build up my speed, but I will. From once I get 3 speed, I'll start doing that as much as possible. It might not even be possible though because the red jammers might appear. But I'll try hard it and see if it makes a difference to the win rate. I don't have a lot of medals. That's the one problem here. Oh, this is gonna be juicy. Yeah, not so bad. Can we do it? Can we do the hat trick? I'm gonna be quiet and I'm gonna see how well I can do. I'm gonna sit back in my chair and everything. Just gonna relax and play some Pac-Man. You can basically consider the stream over at this point, alright? That'll help me relax. The stream is over. You're in the epilogue, the encore. The part where I make absolutely no effort to make it interesting. Okay? You're in the post game, yeah. It's a lot of white jammers. Missed the fucking turn. Ah, whatever. My TV wants to turn itself off. Thank you, TV. Alright. Well, that's obviously not the last game. So, let's go. I'm just playing Pac-Man. If you choose to inflict this on yourself, it's your own fault. I am going to finish soon, but I'd rather end on it. I want to see now if I can. That loss felt like a fluke. It felt like just a missed input, and that was it. pretty early to be whittled down to 50. Normally I'm on round 3 or 4 by the time that happens, I think. I just don't know if this is... if it has an effect on when red jammers begin to spawn, if that's related to the player count or something. Shouldn't have grabbed that one. I gotta remember I'm tryharding. Supposed to wait. I can't wait right now because there's too many red jammers. So I'm just gonna grab that one. Inky nearly got me again. I don't know why I have such a hard time seeing him. I suppose he's the most similar in color to the others. I ended up popping that fruit quite early. I'm either being targeted by a lot of people or I'm up against someone good. I played well, can't be disappointed in that one. How did I come fourth there? Something feels fucky about that, man. The time it took for the thing to come up, all three of them died? I thought I was second. I played well though. Say the current meta is delaying as long as possible. Yeah, I don't know about that, because the game does get easier again on round 10. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I agree. I'm winning a fair few games. Maybe there's someone who streams it who wins more, who like wins 90% of their games or something. Maybe it's worth trying. But the problem with delaying the first pellet as long as possible is when the red jammers come in, you're kind of fucked, because you can't. It becomes exponentially harder to clear a board and get a speed up when the red jammers come in. So I don't think it makes sense to delay as long as possible on the first few boards. I think the meta is to delay. It is to delay as much as possible, but only after the first couple of rounds. Alright, let's make this the last one. I feel bad streaming without saying anything, so... Last one. I might as well just be playing it off stream if I'm going to do that. There's the problem with being a YouTuber and then going to be a streamer is I just think people expect a higher density of entertainment. You know what I mean? Someone says, nah, streaming is something in the background while people do shit. The expectation is in the trash. Yeah. Took probably the worst possible route through that quadrant there. So, once I grab these dots, now it's all about stalling. I mean, I could be doing more to stall, like actually moving around the maze. Should have stalled there. That was a mistake. I'm just not used to tryharding. Should have tried to kill. Okay, this is the last game. Last game. Is it gotten to the point where some of you are laughing hysterically whenever I say last game or one more? One more. No, this is the last one more, and I mean it. If you're watching live, this is actually the one. This is the final one. Even if I just somehow die right now, it's over. Look at that. Less than a third of the dots eaten and the fruit has already appeared. But I'm pretty sure I had more dots eaten. Remember when I was complaining about it earlier that the fruit hadn't spawned? I'm pretty sure I had way more than a third eaten, so maybe it changes as the game goes on. It would kind of make sense for it to change. I don't know, it would be very hard to parse in real time, but I really would like if there was a way of knowing exactly how many fruit were left. Or how many dots were left to get the fruit. There was at least one instance where I would have been able to use that information earlier. And you know, the better you get at the game, the more you'll be able to use that stuff in real time, figure it out in real time. Should be on counter. That annoyed me there, the way it just turned around like that. And the diagonal thing fucking me up again. I might be letting them red jammers get into a really bad position by waiting there. Yeah, this doesn't look so good now. Okay. Single white jammer nearly killed me there. There we go. Hey! We're leaving it on a win. Yeah, I meant that was the last game. No more one mores. No more one mores. That's it for now. Yeah, the win rate went up when I did try hard. I didn't manage to get a streak, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. It's actually... The game has gotten harder to win, so I don't feel as bad about doing it as I did when it first came out. So I might carry on doing it. I would like to get a better win rate. Seems like the better way to do it. It didn't... I expected that if I tried that, I would end up waiting around a lot longer than I actually do. I think red jammers are coming in earlier now that people are better, and I end up having to pop the pill anyway, just to stop the red jammers from moving into a bad position. So it seems like a legitimate way to play. But yeah. Alright, I'm going to call it there. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Hope you had a good time. And I'll see you all next time, alright? Bye-bye, everyone.